the Chiefs could chase a fourth straight Super Bowl. There's more that I could accomplish. Absolutely, that's on the table, but hard to draw up a more storybook ending to your career than the Chiefs winning this game. Welcome to the NFL on Fox podcast presented by Verizon, the NFL powered by Verizon 5G. I am your host, Dave Hellman. Super Bowl week officially off and running. The opening night festivities are behind us. Monday night, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles joined together in the Caesars Superdome for the extravaganza that we have come to call opening night, what used to be media day. The only time these two teams will be in the same room prior to kickoff on Sunday. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know if we'll ever see a more business-minded opening night. I guess that's the benefit of a rematch that happened just 2 years ago. Look, it's a special occasion. It's one of the goofiest days on the NFL calendar. Basically a press conference for the entire world. Football sickos follow this stuff all year long, obviously, but this is a night for everyone to tune in to what's happening in the Super Bowl. Nickelodeon's there. New media is there. TikTok stars are there. You can always count on the weirdest stuff happening as these players and these teams are exposed to such a big stage. But I gotta say, both teams felt like they had been there and done that. And that makes a lot of sense, obviously. The Kansas City Chiefs have this thing down to a science. They've been to 5 of them now. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I know there's a lot of new faces on this team. You wouldn't know it based on the way they conducted themselves at opening night. This looks like a team that's ready to get down to business, ready to get busy. What are we doing all this talking for? Even new guys, Saquon Barkley, a guy we're going to get into, one of the biggest stars on this team, first time on such a big stage, handled himself very businesslike. I think the Eagles feel like they have unfinished business that they have to get to. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs are chasing history. So it's a fun night. It's, like I said, a goofy night. You can never fully predict what's going to happen, but both of these teams looked like they are very, very ready for Sunday evening. But even still, it's one of the biggest gatherings of media and cameras on the American calendar, and plenty of fun still went down. That's why we are here to help you recap the top moments from Super Bowl 59 opening night in New Orleans. And let's just jump into it, because if the teams themselves tried their best to be very buttoned down and stoic, we did our best to not let that happen. We teased it heading into Super Bowl week that our guy, Jameis Winston, free agent quarterback, most recently of the Cleveland Browns, spent some time with the New Orleans Saints, so he was very comfortable in the Superdome. We teased that he would be helping us out with our Super Bowl coverage, and he started it out in a big way on opening night. So we're just going to start this thing off with the best of Jameis, and we honestly had a hard time whittling it down. Let's start with, I can imagine if you're listening to this, maybe you didn't block out your entire night to watch opening night. Maybe you saw it on at a bar. Maybe it was on at your friend's house or whatever, and maybe you saw Chiefs and Eagles players catching stuff that was getting thrown at him. Yeah, that was Jameis Winston handing out W cookies. Go ahead and check that out.
And I want you to do this for me, bro. I want you to eat a W, all right? Hey, that's why you play quarterback. Eat this W, and you better catch it. Boy, your hands are always, eat a W for me, brother. You can catch footballs, but can you catch W's?
Come on, you know I catch all the W's.
You know it, baby. Oh! I got another one for you because you don't drop nothing. We're going to get you another one. And this got the plastic bag on it. I got one more for you because that was a bad throw, too. I got another one for you. Yeah, you're going to keep getting these opportunities. I wish I could throw to you.
It's such a full circle moment that the original Jameis Eat a W bit happened in the Superdome. He was the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the time. And it's a testament to the guy's personality. At the time, It was strange and cringe that Jameis Winston was eating a literal W in the huddle with his teammates, and he has turned it into not only a quality bit, but like a defining characteristic of his personality in a good way. It's an all-time turnaround, and I just love that as we were putting this show together, as you're watching the coverage of opening night, you just kept seeing players getting cookies thrown at them. It's a perfect way to start out this segment with Jameis Winston. But I also love this. I mentioned it. Jameis Winston, done with the Cleveland Browns for the time being. He's entering free agency, still has played good football this year and in previous years. And I just love when you involve when you involve players in your coverage, you get the real talk, as you saw when Jameis Winston was literally asking A.J. Brown where he should go. Check that out.
What do you think I need to sign in a free agency?
You know, we got some room for you. Yeah, we got some room for you. Yeah, we got some room for you.
Credit to A.J. Brown for being diplomatic, for referencing his own team. Respectfully, A.J., I think you got to be crazy to think Jameis Winston is going to sign this year with a team that has a definitive starting quarterback. Obviously, Kenny Pickett still in Philadelphia as well, but Jameis Winston is good enough to at least compete for a starting job. I'm thinking Pete Carroll in the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm thinking the New York Giants. I would be surprised to see Jameis sign on to definitively be a backup as he would be in Philadelphia, but you got to respect AJ advocating for his guys. Lastly, Jameis, good quarterback, clearly could have a future in media if that's what he wants to do. Maybe not a great impressionist, as we found out when he spoke to Eagles left tackle Jordan Mailata.
Jameis. Do you mind if I try an Australian accent?
I'd love you to, brother.
Okay, this is from the Crocodile Hunter. Jordan, there's no moment brighter than this moment besides you being Jalen Hurts' backside. Can you tell me what we all been waiting for? What is your favorite color?
What is your favorite color? Brother, that was the worst Australian accent I've ever. The only word you got right was color.
Respectfully, Jameis, I don't even know if that qualifies as an accent, man. Like, as Mailata pointed out, color had some Australian twang to it. And maybe when he said Jordan at the beginning, the rest of it just kind of sounded like Jameis Winston to me. But an admirable effort all the way around. Really enjoyed what flair Jameis added to the opening night proceedings. But talking to Jordan Mailata serves as a perfect segue, because I think people are hip to Jordan Mailata, but the guy simply needs more shine. I mean, think about the number of stars on this Eagles team, from Jalen Hurts to Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Who am I forgetting? Darius Slay. I'll throw out Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as a contender for the biggest, most interesting personality on this team. But for a team with all this star power, there's nobody more entertaining to hear from than the Eagles left tackle, the Australian, the all-pro, one of the biggest, most mauling dudes. Did you see Jordan Mailata doing his Bane impression during the playoffs from his mic'd up segment in, I think it was against the Commanders, literally quoting Bane from Batman on the field in a playoff game, and he maintained it all the way through opening night. Let's check out the first of several standout moments from Jordan. First of all, talking about where he would play his head coach, Nick Sirianni, in the lineup.
Nick Sirianni had to play for one drive or one play. I put him at left tackle. See him out. Yeah, I put him at left tackle. That's where I play him for a whole drive. See how it feels.
I love it. It's a perfect answer. And yeah, the point I'm trying to make, nobody gives the big guys enough credit. If there's a team where the offensive line probably gets enough credit, it is Philadelphia. Jason Kelce was a big part of that. The speech he gave when they won the Super Bowl, the Christmas album. Speaking of which, another great segue, because ever since the Christmas album dropped and everybody found out that Jordan Mailata has the voice of an angel, you can count on him being asked to sing when he is available to the media. And he did not disappoint on opening night, singing his own rendition of the Eagles fight song.
Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. I think I already messed it up. Fly, Eagles fly, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hit him low, hit him high. Now watch how Eagles fly, fly, Eagles fly.
As someone who spent my entire adult life around football and football players, I think you'd be shocked how many of them would not be able to sing the fight song, even though it plays a dozen times per game every week. Like, not only does Jordan Mailata have a great voice, he is engaged and involved enough to know the lyrics to the Eagles fight song, which, like I said, maybe that doesn't seem impressive to you, but I think it speaks a lot of, again, one of the biggest personalities in the NFL right now, who also had a chance to talk about his favorite thing about all of the long runs that Saquon Barkley's broken this season.
What is it like to block for a 60-yard touchdown? It feels amazing. It feels amazing when, one, you don't have to keep playing because he's taking it to the house after, only going 20 yards. And then two, you get a lot of break. You got a lot of break time on there, and I feel sorry for our defense sometimes when Shayshawn takes it to the crib.
I think I'm also just a sucker for a huge Australian guy who's good at American football. Like, with all due respect, again, to Jameis Winston's not very good Australian accent, it's a lot of fun that one of our best offensive linemen in the game right now has this accent that you don't typically associate with American football. Very fun. Big fan of Jordan Mailata as a player. He's so much fun to watch when he pulls on a run and is taking on linebackers in space, probably laughing maniacally while he does it. He's a joy to watch play. Equally good on the microphone, which is not something we're always used to from left tackles. I feel like we just got to give him his due. And very fittingly, that is the flamboyant, the outspoken part of the Eagles' run game, because the next moment we want to get to in our recap of opening night is the guy that he throws all those blocks for, the guy that's had all those 60-yard touchdown runs. And it's no knock against him, but Saquon Barkley is all business. He is as polished as they come. I think my biggest takeaway from opening night with Saquon Barkley is the guy's got the perfect answer for everything, and you will see that as we go through it. Our first soundbite, when he was asked about the Eagles' quote-unquote adversity that they faced when they fell to 2-2 before their bye week early in the season.
I mean, I wouldn't call it adversity. Being 2-2 in the NFL is not adversity at all. Definitely the media is going to take it and run with it, and we're in a tough market, and our fans expect a lot from us. But I do think that bye week helped us become a lot closer and realize what we want to accomplish, and just understanding that how much talent we have on this team, and don't want to be look what we could have been, and rather be we did some special stuff and we accomplished a lot, and now we're one more win away.
Okay, maybe that's an intermediate level question. Maybe, Saquon's been in the league since 2018. He's one of the biggest stars in the game. That's not a tough question for him to answer. But check out his answer when he was asked what he would say to Giants fans. Obviously, he was a franchise cornerstone for an Eagles division rival that plays just up the interstate. You get the picture. Giants executives were quoted throughout the offseason on Hard Knocks talking about whether he was worth paying, whether they should let him go. The drama with the Giants and with Saquon Barkley and the Eagles, it's one of the most well-documented stories of this season. But the way that Saquon navigated what he would say to the fans of his former team, I thought was so impressive. You could use it as a teach tape in a PR seminar. Check this out.
My message to Giants fans would be, it's nothing but love. I'll be naive to think that they weren't supportive to me over the last 6 years. Obviously, a couple of them, not probably a couple, a few of them were disappointed with my decision, but the way I look at it, all the things that happened over there and the love that I have for them is the reason I'm able to have the success I'm having now. So just thankful for all those people over there.
I very much doubt Giants fans will be rooting for Philadelphia on Sunday. Even if you're over the Chiefs, I think you're going to root for a three-peat every time over seeing your division rival succeed. But I would hope that not very many Giants fans are placing their angst or their frustration at the feet of Saquon Barkley. It's tough to see somebody succeed for your division rival who spent so much time and energy with your team. I understand, but Saquon has handled this entire very visible situation so classily and so well from the very beginning, from the first game that he played against the Giants, where he pulled himself out once they got up by enough points, all the way through to Super Bowl opening night. It's incredibly impressive the way that he's navigated probably a pretty difficult situation for him and his family. And that, again, is a theme for the Eagles' appearance on opening night. Very businesslike, very buttoned up. Maybe the goofiest moment wasn't even anything that the Eagles did. It was Chad Johnson, stopping by Nick Sirianni's podium to give him a smooch on the head while he was talking. Completely out of left field, which, like I said, even with the most dedicated effort to be boring, somebody's always going to find something interesting or a way to make it interesting on opening night. But let's flip to the second team. The champs came out second on opening night. Obviously, when you're talking Kansas City Chiefs, there are a couple flashpoints that you're going to hit. There are some popular notes, if you will. We will get to those because there are some interesting ones. Obviously, we got some Patrick Mahomes sound in the show. Actually, several members of the Chiefs organization sounded off about the quote-unquote controversy with the Kansas City Chiefs and the refs that have followed them for much of the last year. Interesting moment there. But let's start it off with a man of the hour, fresh off of his girlfriend's appearance at the Grammys on Sunday night. Travis Kelce spoke on Monday night. He touched on that. He touched on how much longer he wants to keep playing. Actually, yeah, let's start with that. Let's start with Travis Kelce talking about what he sees in his future after this game.
Where will I be in 3 years? Oh man, I don't know. Hopefully still playing football. I love doing this. I love coming into work every day, and I feel like I still got a lot of good football left in me, but we'll see what happens. I know I've been setting myself up for other opportunities in my life, and that's always been the goal, knowing that football only lasts for so long. You got to find a way to get into another career, into another, profession. And I've been doing that in my off seasons, but for the most part, I plan on being a Kansas City Chief and playing football.
It's a very interesting answer to me. And I'm not gonna put words in Travis Kelce's mouth, and I definitely don't want to assume too much from a media night quote that he, a 30-second soundbite. But it is interesting to think what could happen after this game. And it's interesting to hear Travis say that he expects to be playing for the Chiefs well into the future. Because look, I'm not going to criticize the guy. He didn't have a season up to what we have come to associate him with. Not a Hall of Fame caliber season, but I think it's very obvious at the age of 35, Travis Kelce has learned how to pace himself, keep himself fresh for the playoffs, and be effective without burning himself out over the course of a 19-20 game season. I think he's done that expertly. I expect him to play a big role in Super Bowl 59 here in a few days. But it's interesting to think. He is 35. He is 100% correct that he has set himself up very well for a post-football career. If the Chiefs win this game, and at the age of 35, he has 4 Super Bowl rings, a three-peat under his belt, he has a case to be the greatest tight end who ever played. Even if you don't want to say he is the greatest, he's at least on that very short list. He's already there. He would be even closer with another championship. It makes me wonder if he does want to keep playing if the Chiefs accomplish that. And of course, he's not going to say that out loud before the game and bring all of that speculation onto him or onto the team. And like I said, I don't want to put words in the guy's mouth, but I wonder, the old argument of stepping away when you're on top. Could you come up with a more perfect time to walk away and go enjoy a career in literally whatever you want to do? The world belongs to the Kelce brothers for the foreseeable future. Maybe he would decide no. Maybe, the Chiefs could chase a 4th straight Super Bowl. There's more that I could accomplish. Absolutely, that's on the table, but hard to draw up a more storybook ending to your career than the Chiefs winning this game. Just something I'm thinking about. Speaking of the Kelce brothers running the world, one of the biggest differences between this game and the last one is that Jason Kelce has left the Eagles to pursue that blossoming media career. He won't be starting on the Eagles offensive line in Super Bowl 59, which was something Travis noted and had a little bit of fun with.
The biggest challenge is, it's a new team from when we played them. They're a lot bigger up front. They don't have that little small center anymore.
That little small center was one of the best ever at blocking in space, though. Part of me wishes this was Kelce Bowl 2.0. I doubt Jason Kelce has any regrets. It would have been fun to see him hang on for one last ride, especially knowing that it would end in another matchup against Travis. But yes, one key difference in this game, Travis not going against his older brother. Super Bowl opening night is a picture-perfect scenario for Travis Kelce to get asked about his relationship with global pop icon Taylor Swift, just in general. But when it happens 24 hours after the Grammys, in which Taylor Swift was nominated and presented and appeared throughout the night on Sunday, it stands to reason he was going to answer quite a few questions about her over the course of the night. We did you the favor of just compiling all of that sound into a greatest hits, because even for the non-Swifties, I think there are a couple of interesting nuggets here. So let's roll the sound.
I think we're both, we love to manifest things for sure, and you can't say it's not real because we're here, right? So whatever she was doing, I'm sure it helped, and it definitely, for me not being able to be here supporting her during those weeks, it made me feel like I was there. So yeah, I better hold up my end of the bargain, right? I mean, if she's out here being the superstar she is, and never taking no for an answer, and always working her tail off, I better match that energy for sure. I don't know her to have the fandom. I know her father has a Philadelphia fandom, as an Eagles fan, and yeah, she'll be all for the Chiefs this time around for sure. You know what? I'll have to ask Scott himself. We haven't had that convo yet, but I think he'll be wearing red. I don't know.
What is your favorite Taylor Swift album?
Tortured Poets, of course. I might be a little biased, but.
Do you have a favorite song?
Travis has to be furious that Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift's most recent album, got shut out on the Grammys on Sunday night. But I digress. The most interesting part of that for me was Travis Kelce very inadvertently solved an internet debate that's been going on since the Super Bowl matchup was set, because Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift were not dating the first time this happened. So we didn't know. Taylor Swift is from Reading, Pennsylvania, in case you were unaware, an hour away from Philadelphia, give or take. She's been photographed wearing Eagles gear before. A lot of speculation about her childhood roots, who she might have rooted for in the beginning, maybe she's got deep-seated loyalty to the Birds as a Pennsylvania native. Travis Kelce putting it to rest once and for all. Taylor Swift, a Chiefs fan through and through. I am very curious now to see what her dad wears or who he supports. I'm going to guess it's just good optics to wear Chiefs red, to wear some Travis Kelce gear, but in his heart of hearts, I'm very curious about Taylor Swift's dad's Sunday and how that's all going to go. Okay, that does it for Taylor Swift Corner on the NFL on Fox Pod, I promise. One last thing from Travis Kelce, which can kick us off into the next bit of the show, was he was asked if he had one question for the media, what would it be? And it's a good jumping off point to a larger conversation. So take it away, Travis.
If I could ask the media one question, why are you guys leaning into this whole ref thing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys leaning into it? That's all I got, though.
I think that's a really great point on Travis Kelce's part. And I think I've been thinking about it since I heard him say it. And I think there's a couple facets to it. Number one, and not to let myself or anybody else off the hook, there's more conversation being generated from more angles than ever before. I mean, opening night of the Super Bowl is a picture-perfect example of that. I mean, it's not just, newspapers, official publications, radio stations. I mean, there's a broader definition to what constitutes the media than ever before. So you're less likely to police the message coming from the media than ever before. And so you're more likely to see stuff like ref speculation on a broader scale. But on top of that, for right or for wrong, enough things have happened in big moments that have become conversations on Mondays after games that it's just unavoidable. Whether you want to talk about the most recent Bills game, whether you want to talk about the roughing calls that generated so much controversy against the Texans. Ironically, the Chiefs have been involved in so few actual game-swinging calls in these playoffs, but you can take it back to the Bengals game the year before. So that is not me declaring right or wrong, because I've said a dozen times at this point, I think it's completely overblown. I don't think the Chiefs have ever benefited from a call in a game that they weren't already going to win. Or I don't think the Chiefs have ever won a game because of a refereeing decision more so than something that actually happened on the field. Case in point, I will say again and again and again and again until I'm blue in the face that Josh Allen got the ball back with 3.5 minutes to play and every opportunity to beat the Chiefs trailing by just 3 points. That is the story of the AFC Championship game more than anything else. But there have been enough of the high leverage moments that land themselves in water cooler debates that it takes on a life of its own. So I don't know if Travis actually wanted an answer, but I think that's the answer, or at least as close to an answer as you're going to get. But Patrick Mahomes weighed in on this as well. And again, these are guys that have done this year after year. They've got opening night down to a science. They know how to give acceptable, albeit maybe boring answers to every question in the book. So Patrick Mahomes weighed in on this, and I thought his perspective was really refreshing, and his willingness to tie it into his own history prior to becoming a pro football player, I thought was really refreshing and really interesting coming from number 15.
All fun, just because I was that guy. I was a Cowboys fan growing up, and I used to hate the Patriots. I think more than anything, I appreciate the greatness of the Patriots more now when I see how hard it was to do what they did. But we just go out there and play the game that we love, the way that we feel like is the right way. And all the other stuff is kind of outside noise. Hopefully we're just giving people a great product to watch, and they can see the love for the game that we have.
I love Patrick Mahomes. First, like, football players are often, athletes in general are often reluctant to do this, to admit that they had lives and opinions and perspective before becoming a member of their current team. I thought it was fun and interesting, to hear Patrick Mahomes even talk about his childhood growing up in Texas as a Cowboys fan, and then admit that he hated the most successful team of the time, that he was, an impressionable football fan. And that is a common sentiment. The Patriots dominated 2 different decades of football. They won a lot of games. They benefited in a lot of ways, not just from calls, but from their own greatness. We saw all of this play out already in the 2010s and in the 2000s. It's nothing new. And on top of all of that, I think Patrick Mahomes hits the nail on the head that the casual observer just gets tired of seeing the same stuff. And so if you even have a thread of copium you can cling to about why you're seeing the same stuff, you're probably going to do it unless you're a Chiefs fan. And again, I love the perspective he adds to it, that as an all-time great himself, as a guy who has already won all of these accolades and all of these championships, it gives him a greater appreciation for what the Patriots did. Because when you're in it, or when you can separate your rooting interest and your annoyance, it's really, really, really hard to win the Super Bowl, let alone to do it 2 or potentially 3 times in a row. So I'm with Patrick Mahomes. It's not going to go away because people get tired of the same stuff, but it is a testament to the Chiefs' greatness, honestly, that they are in this role where they are the villain for a lot of casual or neutral NFL observers. But as Justin Reid, their star safety, pointed out, hey, they're okay playing the villain if that's what they need to do.
Natural, what happens is, we were the Cinderella story and now we're the villain. And you know what? That's okay. Personally, I kind of like it. Like, I like walking in and, you know what I mean, being the guy that everybody's rooting against and still being the one to come out on top. That's a little bit more fun.
The neutral fan is going to hate you no matter what you do. You could win a game in which no controversy happens and they'll find the next thing to latch onto because people get tired of the same. People get tired of dominance. It's just the nature of the beast. They will look back on all of this and say it was the defining moment of their childhood, of their lifetimes later, but now it's no good. We're seeing it on social. I hate to sound like an old man yelling at a cloud, but people now today are calling the New England Patriots likable. Whereas if you lived through that era of football, you know that is just not how anybody felt in the moment because people get tired of the same. So Justin Reid, you nailed it, my friend. People are going to find a reason to be mad about it no matter what. You might as well lean into the role. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are very comfortable in their shoes and very confident in their abilities as we get set for kickoff. Those were our top moments. Very eventful, very entertaining opening night, and it is just the beginning. This is our last show from Los Angeles. We're going to join the fun starting now. Literally, I got a bag to pack. I got to get out of here. I got a flight to get ready for because we're heading down to New Orleans. We will be in on all the action. We're going to get you so much great content this week. We got so many good shows, so many good interviews, some really big names lined up for the show. So I hope, if you haven't already, you will please go subscribe. Go find us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We'll be coming at you on all the social channels as well. If you want to go find us at NFL on Fox Pod, we're on every channel. You can find us on the Gram, on the Talk, whatever they're calling the Bird app these days. We got a YouTube channel, wall-to-wall coverage, starting as soon as the wheels touch down in New Orleans, which, like I said, I got to go take care of that. So I got to go, but we'll talk to you all real soon. As always, I appreciate it so much. I'll catch y'all next time.